Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. We are here to film and, document Volume 2 of The Wander with Beatrix Potter, the scrapbooks that I made from this journey. So this is one of 3 books. I did a more traditional junk journal and 2 large scrapbooks. So this is Volume 2 that depicts a slightly older version of Beatrix than the other book. I have hand colored this photograph as well as added the Tailor of Gloucester back here. This book has been painted and gilded by me. It is a vintage Time Life book that is stuffed and embossed and has this beautiful embossing, and it's shades of sort of periwinkle and yellow. I've added lace down the side and it's been hand stitched on, and at the back I've done this fun stitching here on top of Beatrix Potter fabric, which is also on the spine. We have Peter there, and the eyelets are gold, and this blue seam binding is the closure. These are very big books. They're 7 signatures. They are 11 by, I believe, 8 1/4. Yes. So they're big and they're wonderful. These are designed to sort of have a lot of Beatrix Potter in them, but to leave you lots of room for customization. So the way that I created these end papers was by taking all these little illustrations from her original books and putting them together to make custom made end papers that I then stitched around and added this fun mixed media ink and coffee treatment to and sealed. And then I used one of the traditional little pages from all of her books that have her characters as the front tuck spot. Then this is a large journal card of her a little later in her life, with some of her characters there at the bottom. So that's just a big journal card. And I've also included one of these journal cards. It's just some of her characters in frames. So that's what's up here. This is a large piece of wallpaper with bunnies on it, and I thought it was a nice little entry to the book. This is Beatrix Potter fabric of the Flopsy bunnies eating some blueberries. And in this pocket we have this art of all these sheep, because she did become a shepherdess later in life, and I've added one of her illustrated sparrows there. This blue paper has this little black bunny, one of my favorite characters that she's drawn, and it wraps around and it says, "The little black rabbit. Now who is this knocking at Cottontail's door? Tap, tap it, tap, tap it. She's heard it before. And when she peeps out, there was nobody there, but a present of carrots put down at the stair. Hark, I hear it again. Tap, 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 tap it. Why, I really believe it's a little black rabbit." And then we have a little Peter Rabbit here. And then this is one of the book pages from a book of verses that are illustrated. They're paired with illustrations by Beatrix Potter. We have the Owl and the Pussycat story back here, and this is Old Mr. Brown and a cat in a boat. So like they've kind of blended our familiar fairy tales with, her illustrations. And then this is a little bit of botanical, so you're going to see lots of botanicals through here too, because that's another very important aspect of the life of Beatrix Potter. So these are common mosses of the British Isles, big journal card. These little bunnies down here on some of my inked paper, and a little this is a little tab. I've made these little tabs throughout along with fabric, Beatrix Potter fabric tabs. This is a large Jemima Puddle Duck coloring book page. The little mouse, Mrs. Tittlemouse. At the edge of a pond, a happy pair. So these bunnies and a little frog stamp. This is from a 1930s book called Four Little Bunnies. I've added them throughout the books as well, because I felt like they just really go along with the whole bunnies and all of that. And I've added a Benjamin bunny there. And this is a botanical page. Here we have Jemima Puddle Duck and her sly fox walking through the violets in this piece of art. That's a large journal card. And then this belly band says, "I went into my grandmother's garden," and there's the verse there, and then the garden that's been illustrated by Beatrix Potter. It is on a large botanical page. There's a fairy under here, and this is Beatrix Potter paper, and I've made a large sort of journaling card, and we have a fairy inside, and on the front we have Mrs. Moppet and the kittens running up the path, which is actually illustrated in the same way that the Lake District home that she lived in was looked. That's her house, and these are the plants that she planted. She was very much looking to add some of her real life to her illustrations. Wonderful stories, this little knitting mouse, and a little, I think this is, I forget the guinea pig guy's name all the time. It's like Tommy, I think. I forget. I've been studying so much Beatrix Potter that some of it is just starting to leave my mind. And then we have Peter down here with this little cabinet and a little squirrel nutkin kind of coin illustration from one of her books. This is one of the little 4 little bunnies, tuck spots with these mushrooms inside. Nid, nid, naughty, we stand in a ring all day long and never do a thing, but nid, nid, naughty, we wake up at night, we hop and we dance in the merry moonlight. And this is one of many envelopes that you'll see like this throughout these books. They're from a garden planner and they're really beautiful. And then we have these 2 journal cards inside here. 2 large journal cards. Tuck those back in. Then we have a little pocket here, and inside is this little envelope of the Flopsy Bunnies. And in here, this little Miss Tittlemouse making some food. And a little journal card of the bunnies. Another little bunny image. And then this is so cute. So this was an illustration that Beatrix Potter did of a coconut with little mice inside that was a Happy New Year greeting. So it says, no noise except the birds and bees and the lambs in the meadows. And then a little Peter putting a letter in the mail slot. And this is a little Tommy Tittlemouse and little story from Tommy Tittlemouse. This is a journal card that wraps around the page. There is something delicious about writing the first words of a story. You never quite know where they'll take you, Beatrix Potter. And then this beautiful botanical page. This is the actual watercolor box that belonged to Beatrix Potter's mother. Then I did this fun little glued down watercolor painting swatch of these beautiful watercolors that I recently got. I've gilded around some of them just to add kind of that artistic feel to the book. It has this verse down here that says, spring comes to the uplands, the cuckoo is calling, sweet gale and green with the unfolding their leaves. There's honeybees humming and swallows a-coming. Come back, pretty wanderers, come nest neath the eaves. And then over here we have Beatrix Potter and her family in this little frame. A Jeremy Fisher coloring book page. This is a beautiful illustration of bunnies pulling a carriage, and we have a frog and mice and all the characters here with this this English town, a Beatrix Potter illustration. And this is an inked page that I did, and then this Timmy Willie. When will I learn the name of Timmy Willie? He's in there. That's his coloring book page. And then the bunnies here, and old Mr. Brown and Squirrel Nutkin. More Squirrel Nutkin with these lovely riddles, and a little bunny. This is Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit paper. Peter here with some cabbages. And this is that same beautiful wallpaper. And then this is a Beatrix Potter illustration. And then this is a large butterfly tag that I watercolored with those same fun watercolors. They're granulating watercolors. And then this pocket here on this beautiful wallpaper with this birdhouse tag with a daffodil. So pretty. This is a tag that I made during my April round robin. Peter Rabbit, and then the seat for the gnomes, so some toadstools. I've done little bits of different kinds of English, like landscape and plants throughout this book, as well as animals and things, because I didn't want everything to just be from the stories. That might get a little tedious. So this is Beatrix Potter fabric with a little mouse there stitched on, and it's on one of those envelopes. This is the leading breeds of British sheep. So these are all different British sheep. She became a shepherdess who forwarded the Herdwick sheep. They were her choice of breed. And then we have this lined paper here. Oh, so this one isn't an envelope. This is one of the pages from a garden planner. It's really pretty. And then Timmy Willie with a rake down here. a tab, and then this is one of the frogs who visits Mrs. Tittlemouse, and she's one of her unwanted guests. And this is a page from a Beatrix Potter guest book, Carnations and a Bee. And then we have Mrs. Tiggy Winkle tending to her laundry. She was the washerwoman of the Beatrix Potter world, so she would wash all of the clothes of the little critters. And this is an inscription from one of her books. It says, "Dedicated to all pickles, especially to those that get upon my garden wall." So pickles is what she called cats, which I love. This is Peter being put to bed by his mother. A little thistle pocket on this beautiful botanical page. This is a bunny from another old book. I don't know the story behind it, but it's lovely, and I wanted to make a journal card out of it. This is an upper tuck pocket with some florals and some china. The whole thing just kind of makes me feel very like Beatrix Pottery kind of kitchen. And then this is a piece that I also made during my April round robin, and I thought it had a nice feel to it because it's this little girl and her dog, and just, I don't know, it feels like it belongs with this book, the lace, the background, and then I added this little Samuel Whiskers in there. And this pops up in this upper tuck. Then we have another of the large format verses pages. All sorts of beautiful illustrations in verse. Botanical page, Jemima Puddle Duck. This is a little envelope with a bunny. And inside of it, we have this little bunny tag. And that's just attached with a rusty paper clip, just as a little additional bit. I've left lots of room for writing and gluing things down. There's plenty of expansion space in these scrapbooks. Then we have the little mice here, and this is Hunka Munka and the Cradle, and that's a coloring book page. The other side of that guest book, a little pointillist-drawn bunny, Peter sneaking under Mr. McGregor's gate, and he's not far behind. More of that garden paper, and a little mouse carrying the tray of food. This is a little Melman mouse and a little Peter Rabbit in the garden. Then we have the 4 little bunnies. I've made a pocket with these trees inside. It's a large journal card. The Tale of 2 Bad Mice and the story. Then the Beatrix Potter fabric pocket with a little stamp stitched down. And this is a watercolor image of Beatrix Potter's nephew on these butterflies that I've painted with granulating watercolors. Then we have this page here of this Babbity Booster Bumblebee. This is actually from another of the large format pages from the books. Did I show you this? No, I didn't, maybe. So this envelope, sorry, I had to take a quick little break, has this journal card inside. So cute. Then over here we have this little weasel here, and it's a really interesting tale about weasels. And another of the tabs from the Beatrix Potter fabric. And then another image from the 4 little bunnies. And this time we have a little kitten in the middle here. And this is some beautiful, those foxgloves and a bee, some beautiful wallpaper. It also has bunnies on it. That's the same one from the front of the book. And then this is a big Peter Rabbit theatrical performance journal card. And a beautiful botanical page. And then this little bunny here is one of my illustrations, and this is a large journal card that came out of a vintage nature study book, and I just thought it was really lovely. It's about like how you can paint and print plants, and I felt like this could be Beatrix Potter's desk. It's just a lovely vintage image that I turned into like a big sort of folded journal card. And this cute little tab and a little pig there, the Tale of Miss Peter Rabbit. And then these are some rabbit illustrations that Beatrix Potter did, and in here we have this journal tag. Now run along and don't get into mischief, I am going out. And this is of course before the Mr. McGregor situation happens. Then this is a fun coloring book page of a silhouette of Beatrix Potter with all of her little characters inside. And then we have more illustrations of rabbits, and then this bunny from the Four Little Bunnies. This is another of the large format pages. And then this is the inside of the dollhouse from Two Bad Mice. So all these little miniatures, and that's a flip. And then we have this pocket here that has this little letter written by Hunca Munca, and then this little Hunca Munca has a frugal mind. With Tom Thumb's assistance, she takes some odds and ends from the doll's house. So it's a little journal card from the Two Bad Mice story. And then up at the top here, we have a key and a coin. It's actually the front door key for Hilltop and the old coin that Beatrix found there. And then this is a little duck umbrella, has a duck for a head. It was an image that she drew later in life of like the Chinese emperor, and all these little, I think, squirrels were holding up his long train of his cape, and then he had this umbrella. And this is a moth here on this botanical. And then, of course, this was her pet pig, and she used it as a pig model for drawing pigs. And this is Beatrix Potter with a group of Girl Scout visitors to Sorry in 1940. If I lived in a tent, she chuckled, I might get sciatica. And a little hilltop stamp. More of that beautiful wallpaper, and Peter Rabbit's mother there. And then this is a squirrel nutkin page. So this is a tuck spot of this burlap squirrel. Then we have old Mr. Brown here with squirrel nutkin, and just some collaging of like an old ledger paper that was written on. And this says Old Brown Esquire, Owl Island, which is where old Mr. Brown lives. Dear sir, I should be exceedingly obliged if you would let me have back my tail. I will gladly pay 3 bags of nuts for it, if you will. Please post it back to me. I have written twice, Mr. Brown. I think I did not give my address. It is Derwent Bay Wood. Yours respectfully, Squirrel Nutkin. So Squirrel Nutkin does try quite desperately to get his tail back from old Mr. Brown. And this says Squirrels Afloat. Beatrix Potter first heard about the squirrels in 1897 on vacation in the Lake District. A lady living on Derwent Water wondered how they crossed the water to gather nuts on her island. In a picture letter to Eric Moore, Beatrix drew squirrels on rafts using their tails as sails. And so this is from her sketchbook, 1903. And then more of that large Beatrix Potter book. And we have this little tuck spot of China with this little postcard down here on this envelope with this big journal card of Benjamin Bunny inside. Tuck that back in. And then the end of the tale of Two Bad Mice. Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. More of that lovely large book. I love the bees. They're so beautiful. And then this is a fabric pocket with Miss Tiggy Winkle, Mrs. Tittlemouse, stitched on. And then this is a large tag of butterflies that I painted with those granulating watercolors, and some fun inking that I did on these pages. Other of the large format pages, and a little Tom Kitten tab. Some water lilies and fish that Beatrix Potter illustrated. And then this is Beatrix Potter in a boat here, and this is one of her illustrations, and in the background you'll see the fish and the water lilies. Those are her illustrations in the coloring book of Pond Life. And then this page is dedicated to the fact that she would often receive letters from children, and she would write them back with these tiny little letters and tiny little envelopes, as though the animals were the ones writing back to the kids. So we have a couple of envelopes addressed here. We have Master Benjamin Bunny in the Warren being written to by Peter Rabbit. This is an old image of, it's a photograph of a Peter Rabbit toy that was created. We have the little Benjamin Bunny, the mailman, down here. What you see here is a flip made from book page. You'll see it on the other side. And then we have this London mailbox here, and it's a little tuck spot for these 2 little letters that were Beatrix Potter's letters. So, dear Mr. Jackie, I have had those rabbits here in my garden again. Yours respectfully, Mr. McGregor. So just fun little letters. And they're journal cards. Then over here we have this tip out. So it has a side journal card with Miss Tiggy Winkle and some fun botanicals. She's tending to her washing there. And so that tucks in there. And then we have Mr. Whiskers there. And in here we have Squirrel Netkin sitting on a leaf reading about some more botanicals. And that tucks in there. And then this tips out and we have some more beautiful Beatrix Potter illustration. This is Timeless Adventure, and it's got one of the puddle ducks there on this botanical page. And this journal card is from the Four Little Bunnies. This big envelope, and has 2 large journal cards inside. This is Old Mr. Brown and the bunny here with the Tailor of Gloucester at the bottom. And they both just tuck on in here, and you can obviously fit more in here than just this single piece of paper. These are printed on like a medium heavy cardstock, so they're not like super thick or anything, so you could put more things in there. Then this is a Jemima Puddle Duck page in this little pocket that has her bee on there. And then this is from the Tailor of Gloucester. So this is the page that I did for this book with the mice, and this is real red thread and bits of fabric. This is a tuck spot here of the Tailor of Gloucester. And then the little Beatrix Potter shop. And then up here it says, "No more Swift." So that's the pinned note that they left for the tailor, the mice, when they ran out of thread. And then here's the bee orchid. This is a coloring book page of a Beatrix Potter illustration. And then on this page, this is a Mrs. Tiggy Winkle page spread. So this is a tuck spot, a sketch of a Lake District kitchen with laundry in 1905. And then here we have Mrs. Tiggy Winkle cat bells. Mr. J. Fisher regrets to have to complain again about the washing. Mrs. T. Winkle has sent home an enormous handkerchief marked D. Fail instead of the tablecloth marked J.F. If this continues every week, Mr. J. Fisher will have to get married so as to have the washing done at home. How funny. And then that's a tuck spot. This is a tuck spot, Mrs. Tiggy Winkle here. This is also a tuck spot, yes, up here. So you could tuck a little something in there. And then this is a washing line that I made with real fabric remnants. And then we have Peter Rabbit's jacket, Cock Robin's waistcoat, and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle's cap. Another large format page. This is a tuck spot. And then in here we have this treasure, this envelope that was gifted to me from my friend Mary Ellen of Red Parrot. I've added some collaging with Peter Rabbit here. And inside of this envelope is this beautiful page, and I've added Peter on the back, but it's all about these 1986 nature conservation stamps for species at risk, and those are actually the stamps that are on the front of this envelope. I had a hard time giving this up, but it's just so beautiful. I had to include it in this book. And another of the large pages. Look at all these bees. And a little tab, more large images, a little page. This is a little page from Tom Kitten, and it's like there's a hidden spot under here that has the actual drawing. Like you see them standing here in this shed. That's actually her real shed. And then Tom Kitten at the bottom. Another Miss Moppet over here and some botanicals. And then this is just a little nature-y tag that I made. The white trillium has 3 petals that sit on a 3-leafed ring. This flower is a woodland plant that brightens up the spring. Another of the coloring book pages. When it was all beautifully neat and clean, she gave a party to 5 other little mice. So that's about Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, and she was a bit of a neat freak. And then we have Cattle in Clover, little clover right up with Mrs. Jemima Puddle Duck there and her sly fox friend. There's a toy of Jemima Puddle Duck. She was not a Mrs., I'm sorry. And this is a journal card of the 4 little bunnies. And under here, another Jemima Puddle Duck image. This is a whole spread of Jemima Puddle Duck and her foxy gentleman. This is also a tuck spot. And then over here we have Jeremy Fisher. This is a tuck spot. Some botanicals, another little tuck spot. Beatrix planted the old pink rose that still scrambles over Tabitha Twitchett's porch. The porch is made from 2 slabs of local stone topped with slate. And then there's the walkway up to her home. And there they are again in the doorway. Tabitha Twitchett brings her kittens up the garden path, which Beatrix designed and had built. Visitors to Hilltop still use this path today. And here it is. And the mouse and the bee. These are tuck spots. So this little mouse tuck spot, and then the insects that would unwantedly visit Mrs. Tittlemouse. She was not a fan. Here they are here. And then this is Beatrix Potter fabric of all the bunnies, the Flopsy bunnies here. And this is more of the beautiful illustrations. This is a squirrel nutkin little pocket there with some chipmunks on it, and then a squirrel nutkin tag. Then we have the bunnies and Samuel Whiskers with this hen, and another pocket made from those 4 little bunnies, and they're listening to the radio. Journal card. This is a little tuck spot. This was a little fierce bad rabbit. Look at his savage whiskers, she says in her, that's from her sketchbook. And then this is the fierce bad rabbit here. And the piggies, so cute. And then this is a flap for the next page and the mice up here. But this is like a little eyelet that made this little charm of Beatrix Potter outside of her home. And then we have the pig illustrations in a frame here, and this little black pig in the tub. And this is bunnies from the coloring book page. And then the kitty cats. And some botanicals. Old Mr. Bunny here. And then we have the little mice and Tommy Tittlemouse and Peter sitting on a bench. More of the Peter and Benjamin bunny. And then Miss Moppet. And we have a picture of a bunny here with this little pot. That's from a Beatrix Potter book of like photographs of rabbits that were in her life. And then we have Benjamin Bunny, the coloring book page. Samuel Whiskers. Peter Rabbit, and then one of those fun little entry pages into all of the little books on a botanical page. It's a tuck spot for this piece of hand-dyed paper in the shade of pink with a little floral there. And then all the mice here in this shoe. This is a tuck spot for this 4 bunnies illustration. It's a large journal card. So it's not an illustration, it's a photograph. Flopsy Mopsy Cottontail. Another of the 4 bunnies. And then this is a journal card, like a big piece of stationery, and it's tracks of British mammals. And because she did so much nature study, I thought that fit nicely in there. A little stopwatch from Peter Rabbit and a tab from the Beatrix Potter fabric. There's our Sly Fox and bunnies on this envelope. And inside we have another of the large journal cards, Peter with his mother there. And then on this side we have this piece of art with the piggy sitting on this chair in this hayfield in the British countryside there. I had a lot of fun with those collages. And then Peter and his mother again and again. And this is a jackdaw. And then a little pocket here with the bunnies. And then Tom Kitten with all this yarn on this wallpaper page. More Tom Kitten. This is an upper tuck spot here of Peter on a botanical page with a dandelion. And another tuck spot here. Can stick things in. Another of those little letters from Benjamin Bunny, or to Benjamin Bunny from Peter Rabbit. And the kittens. And the bunnies all asleep. That's a coloring book page. And just some fun botanicals. And then this is a guinea pig, and it's Tuppeny. Was a short-haired guinea pig of dilapidated appearance. So it's a Tuppeny page. Tuppeny flees the town of Marmalade. And there, look at his hair. It's all wild. And more of the large Beatrix Potter book, and another coloring book page of Squirrel Nutkin. And then this is Beatrix Potter as a little child and her brother, and they're in this frame, and this opens up. It looks kind of like a cabinet card, and we have this little label there, and inside the pocket is this 4 little bunnies card, Primrose, and another of the large pages, this little squirrel tab, and then the Fairy Caravan, which is one of her books. Made a pocket out of that for this journal card. And some of her sheep illustrations. There's our little pig. And then the pig went to market. Lambs and shrews. And this is a Peter Rabbit pocket from a Beatrix Potter fabric with this journal card inside. It's on some of my inky paper. These came out so fun. It's photo paper. And then more of the kittens and the mole. And then this is a Beatrix Potter photograph inside this kind of Fabergé egg frame. This is her being filmed at Hilltop in 1943. And that's more toward the end of her life. And then a little Peter. And then what a mop of hair. It's full of hay seeds. It's a little guinea pig. And inside we have this journal card of Beatrix Potter with her sheep at a show. And that's on a botanical page. And then the 4 little bunnies there. And this Peter Rabbit journal card. A little Jemima Puddle Duck and some of the kittens. Another large page from her book, Jemima Puddle Duck. This little rabbit pocket here, and then this is one of her little Pekingese dogs. This was from the Chinese Emperor illustration as well, with the little umbrella. And then the Tailor of Gloucester coloring book page. And then we reach the end where my signature and date are, and another one of those fun kind of cobbled together beautiful end papers. Whew. So that's the end of volume 2. These books are mammoths. They're huge, but there's so much room in them to expand and to have fun. And so now that you have seen these videos, this will be the last of the 3 books. Hopefully you've seen the other 2. They will first be heading to my Patreon and then off to Etsy. So thank you so much for joining me for this flip through. And if you followed through this adventure with Beatrix Potter that I called The Wander with Beatrix Potter, I thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was such a fun deep dive. I feel like I got to treat myself to this little art study. So have a wonderful day. I will talk to you again very soon, and let's just rejoice for a moment in all this Beatrix Potter. Isn't it just wonderful? Okay, thank you all. Bye for now.